Cloud. All right, well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're gonna take a look at a new platform that we've purchased called GivePulse today. And this was, as a lot of you might remember who were working on this last year, this was one of the outcomes of our global and community engagement working group in Idea Hub. We came up with a few different ideas from our strategic doing sessions, and one of them was that it would be great if we had a one-stop shop place to go to where people could find opportunities in the community to get involved with projects or volunteer work, or even potentially research opportunities. So we did a little investigating, and actually one of the students that worked with us last year, Elise Cheney-Makins, found the GivePulse platform, and Jesse Stapleton spent some time talking with the vendor and looking at that, and it was a really nice fit for us and the other softwares that we use at Michigan Tech, like Involvement Link. And it syncs with those, and so it's kind of easy for the student to use. This platform is initially purchased with some Idea Hub funds, so we're really grateful for that. And we're looking for ways to support it if we feel like it's working for us this year. It's going to take a bit of work to really get it up and running. But Becca Horsch in Student Leadership and Involvement has been doing a great job of working with the vendor and working with students and testing it out for a few different events so far this fall. And she's been orienting Dar and I a little bit to the platform. So we wanted to take the next step and bring you guys in and have us all kind of take a look at what this can do. And we can have some discussion after she's shown us a little bit what the platform is and what it can do, have some discussion about how we might use it, how we can engage our community partners. There have been some initial communications sent to a lot of our regular partners, mostly the local partners. It doesn't have to be limited to that, but we kind of started with that. And we can customize this platform to whoever we work with at Michigan Tech and the sorts of things that we want to do. So our next steps will be to really engage them and get them more involved and get them using the platform, I think, and to look for any future funding after this year if we want to continue it. So I think with that, Dar, did you want to add anything to that little introduction, or cover it? Okay.
No, you did great. Thank you.
Okay, so let's turn it over to Becca, and she's going to go ahead and walk us through the platform, and then we'll I think we'll have plenty of time for some discussion, questions, that sort of thing that you're interested in. So go ahead.
Thank you for inviting me to speak to you and give you a little bit of a broad introduction of what GivePulse is and kind of what we've been trying to accomplish these last, say, month and a half on testing it out and making sure students feel comfortable and Michigan Tech campus feels comfortable utilizing it. So I'm going to kind of dive right in. So GivePulse, as you all know, is the online database that we are working to use to find, coordinate, and measure impact to our community. Impact, I'm going to get in a little bit further detail, but we have students and faculty and staff who do so much in our community, and we have community members who are looking for this large group of people to help out and really have that communication back and forth on how to work better with each other. So this is a really great opportunity to utilize GivePulse to make those connections and find new opportunities. And we are grateful that they are a really wonderful support database. They are located out of Texas and are operating with only a company of 11 folks, but they do so much across the country to help make GivePulse happen smoothly and amazingly for anyone who wants to use it. Some common terms that I'm going to be kind of saying throughout this presentation. Events, that's any opportunity, tasks, shifts, or learning opportunities that folks and users can find through GivePulse. Subgroups are programs, initiatives, and groups within the network. And then affiliates are our community partners or our nonprofit agencies. And then impact, those could be funds donated, funds raised, any goods donated, or hours trained, or more than likely, and what this was kind of the intention of, hours volunteered. Starting, really, how do you get involved with GivePulse? The first way is to do that is to create your user account. The really great thing about what GivePulse is that we can operate under a MTU platform. So with that, no one has to create a new password, create a new username that they have to remember. I don't know how many times I've had to click forgot password on so many different things that I've signed up for randomly. Not with GivePulse. We are able to have you go to mtu.givepulse.com, and that automatically connects with our single sign-on through Michigan Tech IT. So we are able to work with IT to make this operational, where all you have to do is sign on with your Michigan Tech ISO and the password you use for literally anything, signing on for BandWeb, Banner, Canvas, what have you. It's all going to be the same platform, the same password. So that's really a great easy way to get started and create your user account. And then with that, you can create your dashboard or your profile, which I kind of like to say is the Facebook version of your GivePulse user platform. This is your opportunity to upload a profile picture, add contact information for yourself, add emergency contact information. And I know this isn't as great of a big deal for you all, but we use a lot of different opportunities where we have students put in like their t-shirt size, and this helps us work a lot better collecting that data. And then again, if they need to, we have all of this information in one platform of if we have to call their emergency contact, if we have to, if for whatever reason they overslept and we have to try to get a hold of them, it's all inputted on their user account profile. And admins of events and admins of different subgroups are able to access that information. And now, just a note, that's not public information. That's information that you choose to put in there that they understand will be presented to the admins of GivePulse. So myself as an admin, Carrie's an admin of one of the pieces that we have of GivePulse. So really, you can kind of make your profile what you want it to be, but when I present this to students, I do ask that they at least input a contact information, their emergency contact information, and a t-shirt size. And then once you create that user profile, you can jump right in and get involved. There is literally a button at the top of the webpage that just says get involved. You can type in the zip code. We are in a very remote area, so there's not a lot outside of the Houghton zip code 49931. But with that, you can look for events. Right now, we have over 7 events listed for students to look at that include helping out with Husky Fan, that could be assisting with the Upper Great Lakes health surveillance testing, not only for our students, but also for our student athletes. And those are something that are just right there, advertised for students to look at and really get involved with that. And then they can click on to any of those events and fill out the register information, and they are automatically registered for that event. They get email reminders that they register. They get email reminders the day before they're supposed to show up, and then they get email reminders afterwards to review and talk about the time that they spent giving back to the community. So a lot of emails for students, and I know that they're not loving the emails, but these are emails that really remind them of really great things. And then not only can I go in as an admin for the Michigan Tech Network to post about events, we have affiliates. We have over 30 affiliates listed onto our GivePulse network that are able to post and advertise their events and talk about their volunteer needs within their networks. And we can go out and choose to amplify the opportunities and post about, say, 31 Backpack needs help with a large pack for the local schools. And we can really target message our students to make sure that they're looking for those opportunities and registering and signing up for them. And then 31 Backpacks can really look to see how many people are coming, how many students are coming to help them, and plan and be able to feel comfortable working and training our students in to best serve their needs. And our current affiliate opportunities, like I said, there's over 30. We have local volunteer agencies. I had our fraternities and sororities become affiliates with our Michigan Tech side of GivePulse because they also post opportunities amongst each other for different fundraisers and different service opportunities as of right now. And that could broaden into any sort of student orgs as we move forward. And then I also have different nonprofits from around the area that are affiliated with GivePulse. After students are looking for the opportunities, signing up for the events, they can go in and do what's called adding an impact. So to add impact, once they're done volunteering, they can go on to GivePulse and there will be a giant green button that just says add impact. And they're able to connect this with any specific event that has been posted on GivePulse. But if, say, a student decides one Saturday morning when they're able to go walk a dog at the Copper Country Humane Society and spends an hour doing that, that's on their own time, but they're still impacting the community. They could go on to GivePulse and connect that impact with their user profile just so that they can describe, reflect, and provide feedback of their experience, even though it's not connected to a specific event that gets posted about. We want to hear about all of the different opportunities that our students are engaging in, whether it's on their own terms or through a event that we plan for them, because we want to really showcase that our students are doing great things across our community. As I've kind of gotten into, an impact is an umbrella term that GivePulse uses to really describe anything that can have a positive outcome for a community. Typically, impacts are volunteer hours or time that they spent. However, an impact could be money and funds donated or raised. And when students do this, I do want to note that there needs to be a receipt attached to confirm that the donation and funds were raised. That's just something that that is kind of an added measure that proves that you have done that fundraiser event. We could also go in and describe an impact of goods donated. For example, if a organization decides to put on a large-scale can drive, they can describe that they collected 1,000 cans from 10 different homes. That's a lot of cans, but they can go in and say that they collected all of the cans to be donated to Husky Fan or the food bank, and that's really, again, talking about the impact that they have in the community and the food bank. And then we can also go in and describe training. So I know that there are a lot of times where we have students going and wanting to volunteer, say, for Dial Help, but they have to go through a longer time of a training process. We do want them to be able to count that time because they're working towards the goal of ultimately having such a great impact on our community that we want them to be able to record the time that they took to have that job responsibility training or the safety training and say that while you're not really engaging on the volunteer side, you're still working to be able to have that outcome. So we want them to be able to count the training. And then this could also be going into more of that research opportunity that we were discussing. And it's saying that we have an outcome, a positive outcome that can be explained, even though there isn't necessarily a specific label we can put on it. So there is the opportunity for students to go in and describe another impact as well. Something great is that while I know I'm attached to my computer most times, we have an opportunity to download the GivePulse app, which I know that we've in our office have been utilizing as we've been testing out some of the different ways we can engage our students in volunteer opportunities. So with the GivePulse app, it looks almost exactly like the web page. You're able to connect your user profile. You're able to go in and you can even add your impacts. You can find events and register for them. You can also add different people contact names and contact people through the whatever emails connected to it. And then you can do this on any sort of iPhone or Android phone. It's in the App Store and Google Play. It's literally GivePulse, one word, and it's the only one that shows up. It's their blue little G. that kind of pops in. And so you can do this on a computer, or you can basically in real time add your impacts and find events if you wake up one morning and want to volunteer. So that's really great that we have an app to connect it to. And when students want to go, you can kind of see on the right-hand side there that they can find all of the different causes that they can volunteer for through the app. It's clicking their profile. They can go to the bottom and add their impact. It's just going to ask if you want to designate a specific event or say that you engaged in a general opportunity, and then you describe the date, what type of impact you're providing, and rate the experience, and then that pops right up on their profile, whether it's on the computer or on the app. So I really highly recommend looking into downloading the app. It's a really great way to kind of keep volunteering on the go. And then, as we discussed, GivePulse does have the opportunity to connect through Campus Labs, which is the platform we utilize for Involvement Link. And so now, as of today and as of about a month ago, students can literally log into Involvement Link, and there is a new tab called Service that's been posted on there. And when they click that tab, they're able to see all of the same events that are posted on the GivePulse website are automatically getting generated onto Involvement Link. So if student organizations are already going in to update their student organization roster as of right now to re-register for their student organization time, they can now go in and look at all of the different service opportunities that they could engage in, which is really great. And I know a lot of our students who have volunteered for the past few Q&R days, because we've had quite a few, have found the volunteer opportunity through Involvement Link and have signed up through that way. So that's a really great thing. And even if a student hasn't yet created a user profile, they can still go to Involvement Link, click that service tab, and click on an event, and it's just going to automatically ask them to create their user profile right away. So it's not any roadblock or any barrier. You don't have to have a user profile before going to Involvement Link or vice versa. So that's exciting to see. And that, again, is really great because we are able to connect with IT to utilize our Michigan Tech ISOs. So as I've kind of mentioned, GivePulse is so broad and so great and adaptable to what we want to do that we can almost make it what we want it to be. So this is really a very, very quick, broad overview of what GivePulse is, some common terms, and some common ways to engage with the platform. So I know that I talked a little fast, but I really would like to take the rest of the time to see if you have any questions or any sort of idea of how you were hoping GivePulse would be able to work for you, so that we can talk about how we can go about it. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so that I can kind of see faces at this point. Any questions?
I had one quick question. This is Casey here. So when I was I was kind of scanning the GivePulse site, and I see all the different potential, I guess, opportunities. So, and then when I look at the add an impact, what I was wondering is that the volunteer that adds the impact, or could that be the list owner or the site coordinator that also adds that impact? Because one reason I was thinking is to get people involved, one very difficult thing to run like a nonprofit or something is your annual reporting and recording all your volunteer hours. And I was thinking if these are really truly volunteer hours that people could put in, that could be a great resource for all of these different entities that are listed on that page. So just kind of wondering who puts that impact in there.
So it could go either way. So if you are the coordinator of the volunteers for your event, and this is something we found with the students volunteering for Q&R Day, we had my coworker Rochelle listed as the coordinator. And as soon as she went on the app to say that the students did actually show up for their shift, because as we know, sometimes things happen, especially now, we have even more unpredictability. As soon as she was able to go in and say that students signed in to their volunteer opportunity, it automatically recorded the impact for them. It automatically said, you showed up, you did what you said you were going to do, and you've impacted the community. Thank you for your time. So it was automatic. But if, say, for whatever reason, a volunteer coordinator wasn't able to go in and sign in on the students right away, then the students could go in and make sure that they had that tag that they impacted and spent that time volunteering for that event.
Thanks.
One nice thing about that as well is when our coworker Rochelle was checking people in, she actually had the app open on her phone and could just swipe. Like, it's that easy to check people in and to have their impacts count. So that was pretty handy because we were outside. We didn't want to have a bunch of computers set up. So it made it pretty smooth.
And she was able to even designate if someone was a no-show for whatever reason. So then they didn't get caught in the mix.
I had been mainly thinking about how cool that is for us so that we can kind of tell our story and highlight the service and things going on. But what you said kind of triggered the idea too, Casey, that this could be a nice contribution we make to community partners too. If they need that data, we can just look it up and, you had this many people at this event or this many donations or whatever it happens to be. So thank you.
And the great thing that about the affiliate process is that they could automatically look into that data as well as the nonprofit organization. They just, as long as they make sure they go in and they can download and export that data right away as well. So we can see it on our end, but they can see it on theirs without having to have more emails back and forth, which I think everyone likes.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Lisa. This is Val. I thought that Casey was leaning towards this question, but I don't think so. So do only volunteers enter an impact, or can the affiliates also enter in an impact?
I just want to make sure that I understand your question. Are you saying that the affiliates are saying that they are impacting the community, or that they had volunteers come and impact?
That having volunteers impacted something within that community organization. And so you get both sides of the story instead of just the volunteer side.
Right. So as of right now, I'm kind of looking at Michigan Tech's. I think it's kind of all a little bit about marketing and how you who you're talking to about it. So I can say that as of right now, we have had 206 impacts on our Michigan Tech community with 203 people. And now I know that means roughly at least every one person who has signed on and created a user account has volunteered at least 1 hour or have impacted the community at least in one way. You have individually, you're able to track what you're doing, but as an organization, you're able to see what all of the individuals are doing just for you. Does that make sense?
Yes. So I think your answer is no to my question.
It's
like, let's say the Little Brothers is hosting an event and we have lots of volunteers going, can Little Brothers put the impacts in, or would we need to designate someone internal? I think, is that where you're going, Val?
Yes, exactly. Would Little Brothers be able to say, this is what took place and offer any feedback?
Okay, yes. I believe the answer is no as of this moment. Because what you can do is talk about the individual people and review them, but I believe the answer is no.
Okay.
But I'm going to look into that a little bit more because I feel like that should be a yes.
Yeah, me too. And so I don't know if maybe there's an opportunity for that.
Right.
Becca, can they go in to just post events on their own though? Like say Little Brothers, do they have a login to go in and add things?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They do have that access, okay.
And they should be able to, once the event's over, and it might be, because we haven't actually had an event completely been finished, but they should be able to go in and review the event as a whole, and talk about, have a piece of reflection of what they could do better next year, what went well, and what they would like to continue doing. There should be a reflection piece on that end.
So they could summarize the event somehow, Becca,
Yes,
potentially. Okay.
yes. I'm trying to double check, but yes, there is an opportunity to say a summary of what happened and how it went.
So I have a question. I'm wondering about community partners and affiliates who have opportunities. How do they get posted to this website? Do they sign up, or are they vetted, or do we go out and seek them? How does that work?
So I worked with Carrie, and then based off of the list that she had, and then based off of the nonprofit list of communication and contact information of nonprofit agencies we both had, I was able to send that list to GivePulse, and they automatically inputted that contact information into the website. And now I can go in and help them post events, or once they kind of figure out the system, they're automatically admins of their own little affiliate, and they can post events that get pushed onto Michigan Tech's network.
So Lisa, if there's a potential new partner, Becca would be your first step of getting them into the loop and added to our list of partners through GivePulse.
Correct.
There's a new partner that's not listed already.
Right, and that's how I operated. Like I said, right now, we also worked to have the fraternities and sororities listed as affiliates, so they were able to quickly go in, and I just had to quickly click an approval button that said, yes, we want to be partners and affiliates and work together to post opportunities. And the great thing is that with an affiliate, we could post it to the general student population, but we could also do target marketing. Say, for example, they wanted specifically health-based students, health-majored students to volunteer for an event. We could target those groups of students through an affiliate process, which is great.
That was one other office too that I worked with, the pre-health advising to get our list together, so that actually most of our community partners were all the same, but because we worked together before, but also because that's really important for those students as well to get that service in. So, but we're just getting started, and so we don't want to exclude anyone. If you have groups that you want to reach out to, we should do that. Are there other questions people have?
I have a question in terms of easy of use for this app or platform. Will you provide documentation as well as some like a tutorial, like a YouTube training tutorial, so volunteers or these community affiliates or even student organizations, they can just sign in to this app and they can provide events to some volunteer students. and whether we have some function we can test whether these events are like all these profile, these people are kind of scam, or this is related to their like a basic profile information. I wonder what kind of information they can provide, so we can see whether this event is a scam or this is a true event, volunteer event. So these are two questions.
So I think your first question is, how are we like providing tutorials to train people how to utilize this? And then the second question is, how do we make sure that what's getting posted is authentic? And okay.
Yeah.
So to answer the first question, we are currently in the process. I have a couple blog posts similar to like how this introduction presentation is operated, just in written form. That's on our student leadership and involvement blog site. We are currently in the process of building a website for just like a web page of GivePulse so that people can go to, and they're going to be able to click all of the different ways that they can get involved. And then to answer the question about scams, we have multiple people within Michigan Tech's platform that are admins on the account, which can go in, and if we come to find that there isn't an authentic opportunity for students, or if it's a scam, we can go in and delete it right away. And then depending on, that's why we had to give GivePulse an affiliate list, because we had to give them a list of folks that we trust to be able to advertise to our students on real events and things that are actually real for our students to give an opportunity. And again, there are a few admins on campus that can make sure that that's actually occurring and nothing improper is happening, which is good. Did that answer both the questions?
Yeah, kind of. So there must be someone like a manager to review all the activities and post, right? Rather than the users can freely upload their activities.
So there is so when it comes to adding impacts to verify that they're actually real, then there has to be a secondary verifier. And so when it comes to general impacts that aren't event connected, for right now, we did have a student who said that they volunteered to go, I believe, hand out care kits for students at the beginning of the semester. There is, to make sure that that's actually a verified event, there is an admin that has to go in and say, yes, that student did that. As of right now, I was just that admin and I did know the student, but that's why we're working to, no different than, say, we have a service-based fraternity on campus who does a lot of various service opportunities. So we could connect that to, say, like an advisor of that student group to verify that the students did that. Or there always has to be a secondary verifier of the impacts to make sure they're actually happening. And the great part is that whoever is verifying could dispute and send back a comment to the student and said, I don't think you accurately describe what you did, or I don't believe that you spent 6 hours doing this one thing. You can dispute it before it gets verified or approved.
And Becca, for the posting of events, that would only be an option for our affiliates, right, who have been invited, like long-term partners that we work with. Is that correct?
As of right now, yes.
So that it would be, seems like it would be unlikely that any one of them would put something that's not authentic up there.
Correct.
But I don't know that if anyone's actually like going through every day and checking, but I think maybe there's a degree of trust there that.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to large scale events, so for example, I'm currently getting different service opportunities for Make a Difference Day at the end of October. Very large scale event, and we do get people who, individuals who want students to come to their home and say rake leaves or what have you. I'm kind of working as the second verifier, utilizing GivePulse to make sure that this is actually a home and a location that we want to send our students to, so that it works in that degree. So there's always someone who has to approve something. It's just right now seems to be me because I'm working through getting the up and running side happening.
I have one more question for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the affiliates, I guess I might have been thinking about this backwards, because I was thinking that the affiliates were the recipients of the impact. But as I'm scanning through, the affiliates that have impacts listed are almost all fraternities and sororities. And when I click on those, it looks like their members were the ones volunteering. Were they volunteering for some other entity, or, like, for example, the Beta Sigma Theta, were they volunteering for themselves? So does an impact mean, are these affiliates getting the impact or giving the impact?
Both. So
how can we tell which is which?
All right. So as of right now, the tier that we are working with, it's called the Campus Labs tier. We are kind of adapting what we have with the type of campus we are. So in terms of working with the fraternities and sororities, and I know right now they're posting a lot because I just presented to them about a week and a half ago. In terms of the fraternities and sororities, I told them that that's their opportunity to communicate with their members, to volunteer for things like Adopt a Highway or their own set of fundraisers. And so right now, that's for their service chairs to go in and say that their members want to sign up for that opportunity that they as a group want to utilize. But then with the nonprofit community partners, that's their opportunity to vocalize to all of campus that we need help with this sort of event. So it's a little bit of both. And this is just my way of adapting GivePulse to what our community and Michigan Tech community needs.
I'm kind of curious too, like for those of you that teach classes where you work with community partners, do you see this being useful for the classroom or for research projects or senior theses? I don't know, those type of things. I'm hoping that we can use that, but I sometimes still a little cloudy. Like, if will students go there or faculty go there? What do we need to do to make that more useful?
This is Rochelle. I guess what I can say, I can imagine using it for some things and not others. So for instance, like with voter registration day, that I think would have been a good opportunity to use something like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about like Angie Carter, when she's teaching the communities and research class, there tend to be like several smaller volunteer opportunities that she encourages her class to participate in. And so I could imagine that it might be useful for her that way and for the class and the students. The way that I usually engage with a community organization on like a community-based research project, for instance, that we do in class, it feels to me like this would just be like extra reporting that we have to do, like an extra administrative sort of task to go in there and enter everything, because we're doing it all together as a group, almost always. I mean, in the way that I'm usually running these kind of things. And so I don't exactly see the utility of it that way. But I also do wonder if there's an opportunity with this platform for community organizations who want to do more of a collaborative project beyond just like volunteers, to post that here in such a way that they could kind of describe what they're interested in, and faculty or staff members who want to set up something that's more of like a long-term engagement would be able to kind of see what the interest is and start to get matched together. I think it would be nice if there's a place too where faculty who are interested in doing this kind of work could maybe upload their skills and interests, and community organizations could do the same kinds of things, and then find each other through that platform.
So
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm trying to make sure it ends. Because when affiliates could go in and have, let's say, like keywords and taglines of certain categories or certain types of interests and skills that they are in need of. And then I know that you can adapt your profile to specifically say, like, I am interested in sustainability, I'm interested in food awareness, or you can also add those tags to your own profile, and search by keyword on that. And
Can
so
a community partner easily find faculty that would be in the system, you know, and kind of flip through them, or it would just be like kind of like a keyword search that they try? How would that
so
work?
you can create your profile to say that you're like a private user, so that, because I know a lot of people don't want all their information out there, but the community partners can look at users who feel comfortable enough making their information more public. So where they can look at those different taglines, and then they could contact that. There's like a contact button that says, like, I would really like you to look at this opportunity that we have coming up. I would really like to connect with you in this way. That is an opportunity.
I think the other benefit is I don't think our students do a good job of tracking their service and, you know, all the things that they do throughout their Michigan Tech career. So even if, you know, you may not want to, like Rochelle, when you were saying, like a lot of these individual classroom projects, maybe you can encourage them to document them in GivePulse, and then all you would need to do is maybe somehow, Becca, you have to confirm this, maybe validate it or something like that, so that you're still encouraging them to track the service type of work that they are doing in one system, in one location. Mm-hmm. So that might be another way to kind of reverse use it for your classrooms as well.
Yes. And then sorry.
No, go ahead.
The great thing about that is, you know, the information and the way the data gets collected, we could have students as users say they volunteered they signed up to volunteer during their first year, and then they have been adamant and able to track throughout their years at Michigan Tech of how much that they've done. And then when they go forth and say look for different career opportunities or different jobs, they can look up that information and just have it all compiled right there, instead of being like, I think that one time I volunteered for these 3 different opportunities my first year. It's all saved and all right there. And the way you also keep the users, and we can archive the users but still go back to that information if they call, say, 2-3 years after they graduated and want to ask a little bit more, they can look up that information too and remember all of the different great things that they've done throughout their time. They just have to make sure to remember to go in and either add the impact or just get into the habit of adding that information if it's kind of more on their own time. Our students don't realize how much they do for the community during their time here. And if they have something in front of them to remind them of all of the great things they've done, they'll realize throughout their 4 or 5, sometimes 6 years here, how great of an impact they had throughout their time at Michigan Tech and in the Houghton, Keweenaw area.
I was going to mention too that it's a little bit more work too to have to report some of this stuff, but I'm still thinking about that Carnegie classification for community engagement that we looked at a few years ago, and how we knew we were doing all kinds of stuff, but we had no data really that to really pull it all together. And this is kind of tool that probably could give us a lot of that data. I don't know if we're really in a position, yet to apply for it, but maybe even on a smaller scale, like to be able to present to the university the impact and the numbers and sort of their language that they want to hear, could be beneficial to building these kinds of opportunities, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point, Carrie, because I was thinking it could also kind of leverage if we're tracking it, for recruitment and admissions, students are drawn to institutions that are doing service learning. And I also thought that maybe for grant writing or tracking purposes as well, if you're applying for certain types of grants or initiatives where you can document how much service has been done to a particular community or with a particular community, that this may be a way to track that and be able to identify how many individuals as well as hours have contributed to a project. So
I'd like to answer, Val's question in the chat. As of right now, we have our 250 student organizations going through the re-registration training process. And there is a piece about leadership and service that talks specifically on how to get engaged with GivePulse, right? That they are learning about. We did talk about it to our orientation team leaders and our RAs during their training. And then, as I said, I've specifically started training our fraternities and sororities because they take up about 10% of our student population. And now I'm working to provide more presentations for more organizations and social media output on how to get involved with GivePulse with our different posts and everything like that. I just wanted to answer that question because I saw it pop up.
So Becca, I have this idea, and I think, the conversation has kind of inspired me. So I work with the students in the makerspace, and I wonder if there might be an opportunity for them to partner with an organization like Habitat for Humanity, and maybe they could make like cabinets or something, like they can't take the makerspace outside of the makerspace, but they could perhaps work on projects like that. So I don't know. So with that idea, what would be my next step to working with GivePulse?
So I believe, trying to make sure I do this right. The next step would be to create a connection between yourself and Habitat for Humanity through contacting them through GivePulse, and say that we have students who have these skills and abilities. Do you see a need for utilizing that to help you all? And then see what they say. And then you can create the event and push it, send it directly to your students saying, we are signing up for these different time slots to create the cabinets. Please sign up for, because I know right now with social distancing, this is even more important. Please sign up for the time that you would like to go in and build this. And then that's kind of your way to connect between the two. And once it's all said and done, it can be delivered. So again, it's just more of that, making that connection. And then the students are able to say that they showed up for that time, they donated their skills, I guess is the way to say it, and this was the result.
Okay, great, thank you.
Becca, is there a way that they can kind of sort in GivePulse, like what the more long-term project opportunities would be versus a one-day service thing, or just a like want to go once a week to to the animal shelter and walk dogs or something like that, versus like getting back to kind of where Rochelle was talking about, like if we could have things highlighted where it's like this community partner really has kind of like a bigger project that they'd like to get a faculty member and a group of students involved in for a semester, and work on some collaborative research, or just an enterprise team, or something like that.
So there is a category called open opportunity, which basically has no start date, no end date. It's just you can go in at any time, and we know that there's going to be a need for someone to sign up and help. I would classify that as an open opportunity.
Okay.
And then describe kind of what type of people you'd be looking for.
And I think like one of the things I'd like to do maybe sometime in October is offer a Zoom for our community partners, just to have like a live session, because I don't think they've had that yet, right, Becca? It's been
not So right now we're trying to get our students to understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, one step at a time. But I think that it would be a good time to do that, and then we could sort of orient them a little bit to how can you post for these different kinds of opportunities, and how we can help them if they're getting stuck and those type of things. So if there are people not in our affiliates yet, and organizations that you'd like to see added to, I think Becca, Dar, and I can work with you, or you can directly contact them and we can sort of help them get in there. Are there other questions? Did we miss anything in the chat? There's a lot of great links that people have been putting in the chat for more tutorials, affiliates, kind of how to get started.
And then I've kind of encouraged anyone that I've directed to GivePulse to play a little bit in there. Just kind of start clicking on things. I wouldn't register because then you'll start getting emails of they want you to come and volunteer for that event. But just kind of start playing and see what some of the great opportunities of how to work with the system are, how to make your profile dashboard a little bit more dynamic by adding like fun pictures or things like that. I think it does, you learn a lot. I learn more by doing, so I feel as though a lot of our Michigan Tech folks are the same way. So please and if you come up with any sort of ideas or questions, please feel free to reach out to like Carrie, Dar, or myself, and we can kind of talk through some of these things.
Becca, I really appreciate all the time you've put into getting this set up and orienting us and everything. It's a lot of work, and thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks also to Jessie Stapleton. I mean, it's just been, we've been talking about it and getting really excited about it, and hoping that this can really add value to our community partners, our students, as well as the institution. So it's been really a great collaboration between Carrie and I, Honors College, as well as SLI to pull this off. And so another, I think a great thing coming out of Idea Hub is these types of collaborations across campus to support our students. So I do want to say kudos also to the SLI team there. So thank you.
If you guys think of additional questions or some great idea comes to you later on, let us know. Like Becca said, I think this platform can be really customizable and flexible. So we want to try to get it so it works for us, and that we can really make an argument that it's adding some value, and it's good for our campus. So hopefully can continue it in years to come. All right, we're almost to 10. So any last question, or shall we sign off? All right. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. And we'll be, those of you in Idea Hub will be in touch. We're sort of like orienting a lot of things based on the gen ed timeline, and that's constantly changing. So once we know what's going on, we will be in touch and sort of let you know some more of what's going on. So we look forward to having some more conversations on that soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have
you,
a
everyone.
good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. This is really exciting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna sign her off there, Dar. I have to run.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Carrie. If you can just send me did you record on cloud or okay.
I did. Yeah, I'm still recording it, so I'll send it to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I
Okay.
appreciate it. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay.